Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Listen closely, because what I'm about to say might make your chest tighten. Not because it's cruel, but because deep down you already feel it. Somewhere in your gut, you've sensed that no matter how much you give, no matter how hard you try, something still feels unstable. And today I'm going to tell you why. Before we go any further, I want you to do one simple thing. If you're ready to hear the truth most men are never taught, subscribe to this channel and like this video. Not for me, but because this is where your clarity begins. I'm speaking to you not as an enemy, not as a critic, but as a female psychologist who has listened to thousands of men sit where you are now, confused, exhausted, and quietly asking, why wasn't it enough? You were told that if you show up, provide, sacrifice, fix problems, and give her everything she asks for, loyalty will naturally follow. That belief is costing men years of their lives. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Women are not loyal to what you do for them. Not your effort, not your money, not your protection, and not your emotional labor. Those things can be appreciated, even enjoyed, but appreciation is not loyalty. Loyalty attaches to something far deeper, far more primal, and far more psychological. When a woman bonds to you, she is bonding to how she experiences herself in your presence. That experience becomes the anchor. If she feels emotionally safe, mentally stimulated, and internally regulated around you, her nervous system recognizes you as home. If she doesn't, no amount of doing will ever secure her devotion. You cannot outwork insecurity. You cannot outgive misalignment. Many men unknowingly train women to see them as utilities rather than partners. You solve, you rescue, you overextend, you absorb emotional chaos without boundaries. And over time, something subtle but devastating happens. She stops associating you with strength and starts associating you with relief. Relief is comforting, but it does not inspire loyalty. It inspires dependence, and dependence quietly erodes desire. This is where men get trapped. You give more when you feel her pulling away. You try harder when her energy shifts. You believe effort will pull her back. But attraction doesn't respond to pressure. It responds to polarity. And loyalty does not grow from fear of loss. It grows from deep emotional resonance. If this feels personal, it's because it is. Stay with me. What I'm about to reveal next will change how you see every relationship you've ever had. Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed that no matter how much you sacrifice, the moments when she's truly attentive or affectionate are fleeting? One minute she's warm, engaged, laughing at your jokes, and the next, distant, distracted, almost untouchable. You can't figure it out. You're left asking, did I do something wrong? Here's the truth men rarely hear. It's not about what you did. It's about what she feels. Women's loyalty is a reflection of her inner world, not your actions. You can provide, protect, impress, or give lavishly. But if her internal compass isn't aligned with you, those gestures float into emptiness. You're not failing because you lack effort. You're failing because you misunderstand where real attachment comes from. Loyalty is invisible. You can't measure it with gifts, attention, or grand gestures. It exists in moments of authenticity, emotional tension, and deep connection. When a woman feels seen, not just looked at, not just complimented, but truly understood, that is when loyalty emerges. And paradoxically, it doesn't always align with your effort. It aligns with your presence, your emotional integrity, and the invisible signals you send that she is safe to trust and desire. Most men misinterpret attraction as a reward for service. They think if they bend over backward, loyalty will follow. But that's like trying to water a plastic plant. It doesn't grow because the soil is missing. You have to cultivate a different environment, one where she experiences you as the kind of man who challenges, excites, and stabilizes her all at once. That combination is magnetic. Here's what's shocking. When a woman is drawn to a man on this level, she doesn't even notice the effort he puts in. She doesn't care about the perfect gestures or the sacrifices. She notices how he makes her feel alive, seen, and secure. That feeling becomes her anchor, and loyalty flows naturally from it. Everything else, your work, your gifts, your being there, can enhance it, but it cannot replace it. Most men never get this. They remain trapped in the illusion that loyalty is transactional. They keep giving and giving, expecting a return, and feel crushed when it doesn't come. That frustration, that sense of futility, eats at your confidence and clouds your judgment. The reality is simple but uncomfortable. Women are loyal to the man who commands her heart, not her schedule. They are loyal to the presence that holds them in a way no one else can, not to the effort that solves every problem. If you're feeling the weight of this, lean into it. Because what comes next will show you the subtle but deadly mistakes almost every man makes that push loyalty away without even realizing it. Here's something most men never hear, even from their closest friends. Trying too hard destroys attraction faster than neglect ever could. You might think that being constantly attentive, over-available, or always agreeing with her makes you a good man. But in reality, it often triggers the opposite reaction. It diminishes desire and quietly erodes loyalty. Why? Because women are wired to respond to emotional contrast, not consistency in service. When everything is easy, predictable, or overly accommodating, her brain stops seeing you as a source of excitement, challenge, and stability all at once. She begins to take you for granted, not maliciously, but subconsciously. And the harsh truth is, when she stops feeling that spark, no act of giving can reignite it. Men often mistake affection for leverage. They think, if I do this, she'll stay. They believe effort equals control. But you can't buy loyalty, no matter how expensive the gesture, how much time you invest, or how emotionally exhausted you make yourself. In fact, these behaviors often do the opposite. They train her to rely on your actions rather than genuinely choose you. Choice is the cornerstone of desire. When choice disappears, loyalty fades. Here's the part that shakes men to their core. It isn't just about what you do, it's about who you are when she's not watching. Women instinctively pick up on authenticity, or the lack of it. If your confidence wavers, if your sense of self depends on her approval, her loyalty will mirror that uncertainty. She unconsciously tests, probes, and distances herself to measure the depth of your presence. And when you bend under pressure, it confirms her doubts. This is why so many men are left frustrated. They pour effort into tasks, gifts, and constant support, thinking it's proof of love. But loyalty isn't proof. It's earned in silence, in consistency of self, in the way you manage your emotions, your boundaries, and your desires. Women respect and follow the man who demonstrates internal strength, not external service. Some of you may feel defensive right now, thinking, so I'm just supposed to stop caring? No. Caring is powerful, but it must come from alignment, not desperation. When your attention is intentional and your presence grounded, it ignites attraction naturally. That is the invisible currency women are loyal to. Everything else, what you do, buy, or provide, can amplify it, but it cannot replace it. If you're still with me, pay attention. Because what I'm about to reveal next is the hidden behavior that destroys loyalty faster than infidelity ever could. And 99% of men don't even realize they're doing it. Now listen carefully, because this is where most men completely miss the point. The biggest mistake isn't lack of effort. It's overinvestment without emotional boundaries. Men think they're proving their worth by constantly giving, constantly accommodating, constantly absorbing her moods. But what they're really doing is creating a vacuum, one that attraction and loyalty cannot survive. Here's the truth. Women don't respect endless availability. They respond to presence with power, not with servitude. If you're always there to fix every problem, soothe every worry, or adjust to every emotional swing, you become predictable. and predictability kills desire. Loyalty thrives in a delicate tension between closeness and independence, not in a constant stream of attention. Think about it. Every relationship you've had, maybe even this one, has a pattern. You push, you chase, you over-explain, and for a while it works. She smiles, she appreciates, maybe even seems grateful. But soon, the pattern shifts. Appreciation fades. She may even begin to pull away. You're left thinking, I did everything right. Why isn't she loyal? The answer is brutal but simple. You created safety without polarity, comfort without challenge, and availability without mystery. Loyalty is never a reward for effort. It's a reflection of how you hold yourself. It's forged in moments when you remain grounded under tension, when you keep your standards without compromise, when you lead with clarity instead of reacting to fear. Women are wired to unconsciously seek men who stabilize their world while simultaneously evoking desire and curiosity. You can't fake it. You can't bribe it. You can't overwork for it. This is why so many men feel trapped. They give endlessly, only to feel emptiness in return. They confuse compliance for devotion, attention for attraction, and temporary interest for loyalty. But here's the key. When you stop trying to manipulate her feelings through effort, something unexpected happens. You regain your power, your clarity, and she begins to respond, not to what you do, but to who you are. If you've ever wondered why some men effortlessly hold women's loyalty while others struggle, it comes down to this invisible line. Women are loyal to the energy you emit, the boundaries you enforce, and the emotional gravity you create, not the actions you perform or the sacrifices you make. Hold this in your mind, because what comes next will expose the hidden signals women are giving every day. Signals most men misread completely, keeping them trapped in cycles of confusion, frustration, and heartbreak. This is the psychological leverage most men are blind to, and once you see it, it changes everything. Here's something almost no man is taught, and it will feel like a punch to the gut. Women are loyal to consistency of character, not consistency of action. You can give 1,000 thoughtful gifts, solve every problem, or stay awake worrying for her. But if your core self fluctuates, your confidence, your boundaries, your integrity, loyalty will slip through your fingers like water. Think about her perspective for a moment. She's wired to sense truth in behavior, energy, and presence. She may not consciously articulate it, but every glance, every pause, every subtle shift in your mood is being recorded in her mind. And if she senses uncertainty, insecurity, or neediness lurking beneath your effort, it triggers the very instinct that pulls her away. Loyalty is built in the mind before it manifests in action. Most men misinterpret tests as cruelty. They think she's pushing them to be unworthy. But here's the secret. Tests are not about control, they're emotional checks. She wants to see if your essence holds up under stress, if your presence is steady when she challenges, and if your energy is magnetic even when circumstances are unstable. If you fail these invisible trials, no amount of giving will restore her investment. Men who overgive often ignore their own value. They try to buy security instead of cultivating presence. They try to manufacture loyalty instead of inspiring it. This creates a dangerous feedback loop. The more they give, the more they feel anxious. The more they try, the less they receive in authentic loyalty. And the cycle repeats until they burn out emotionally, financially, and mentally. What changes everything is understanding this invisible law. Women are loyal to the man who makes her feel alive while feeling safe. The man whose identity is untouchable by her moods. The man whose internal compass doesn't waver. Not what you do, not what you provide. Who you are. This is why men who think effort is enough are always one misstep away from losing connection. Their loyalty is conditional on performance, not on essence, and conditional loyalty is fragile. It disappears at the first sign of emotional friction. If you take one thing from this section, let it be this. Stop equating effort with security. Stop confusing action for loyalty. Begin investing in yourself, in your presence, and in the stability of your character. That is the invisible anchor that women actually follow, the thing they rarely admit, but that governs their hearts. What I'm about to show you next will uncover the subtle cues, the hidden signs, and the unspoken truths women reveal every day. Signals that can tell you whether loyalty is forming or quietly slipping away. Now, let's dive into something most men completely miss. The invisible signals that reveal whether a woman is truly loyal or merely attached to comfort. These are not words she says. These are micro-expressions, subtle shifts in tone, energy, and behavior that speak louder than any "I love you" ever could. If you can read them, you gain the power to see the truth before heartbreak arrives. Notice how she reacts when you do something for yourself instead of her. Most men think loyalty means she should always prioritize them. But women are loyal to the man who has boundaries, who respects himself, who doesn't crumble at her slightest disapproval. If she notices calm confidence when you step back, if she feels the magnetic pull of a man who doesn't overextend, that is loyalty quietly cementing itself. If she recoils, loses interest, or tests harder, that's a red flag. Watch her energy in moments of tension. Is she relaxed, or does she push, pull, or manipulate? Women unconsciously scan your emotional stability. When they sense a man who wavers under pressure, who sacrifices self-respect to maintain connection, loyalty diminishes. They don't consciously calculate this, but their nervous system responds in ways that determine attachment. Here's a truth that will sting. Women often attach more to how a man makes them feel about themselves than to what he does for them. A man can provide the world, but if he doesn't evoke desire, respect, and excitement simultaneously, his efforts become invisible. That doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you align your actions with presence, confidence, and polarity. Those are the forces that bind her, emotionally and subconsciously, to you. Most men miss these signs entirely. They confuse compliance for devotion, smiles for loyalty, and attention for love. But real loyalty isn't transactional. It's a psychological magnet. It grows silently when she feels seen, valued, and challenged in just the right way. It fades silently when those experiences disappear, regardless of how much effort you pour in. So, if you're paying attention, you'll start noticing the patterns. Moments when she seeks you, moments when she distances, moments when she tests. Those are the invisible language of loyalty. And if you learn to interpret it correctly, you'll stop chasing illusions, stop overgiving, and start cultivating the kind of presence that naturally commands unwavering loyalty. Next, I'm going to reveal the secret most men never learn until it's too late. The single, most powerful behavior that either locks her loyalty forever or pushes her away without warning. This is the psychological truth that can transform every relationship you have. Here's the part most men will never hear, and it's brutal in its simplicity. Loyalty is won by emotional authority, not by effort. You may have thought loyalty came from gifts, time, or endless patience. It doesn't. It comes from how you show up in the moments that matter, the moments when you could react out of fear or need, but instead you stay grounded, calm, and centered. Women sense it instantly. A man who maintains his presence under tension communicates that he is reliable, strong, and trustworthy at a core level. That is magnetic. That is loyalty. A man who bends, pleads, or overcompensates communicates uncertainty, desperation, or lack of self-respect, and no woman's attachment can survive that for long. Effort can be temporary. Presence is permanent. Most men misunderstand attraction and loyalty completely. They believe that providing, fixing, and sacrificing is the answer. But those are temporary signals. They may earn gratitude or compliance, but not devotion. Devotion, the kind that inspires loyalty even when life gets messy, is rooted in emotional consistency. It's anchored in the way a man handles his energy, his boundaries, and his integrity. Here's the psychological insight. Women are loyal to men who regulate themselves before regulating her. They are drawn to men who hold tension without collapsing, who respond rather than react, who maintain polarity while being emotionally available. When a man demonstrates this, her attachment deepens. She doesn't need to be told she's loyal. Her subconscious feels it and acts accordingly. Most men sabotage themselves without realizing it. They think overgiving, constant reassurance, or bending to moods is proof of love. But it's actually proof of imbalance. It signals that your center is negotiable, that your presence depends on her validation. And when loyalty depends on validation rather than self-authority, it is fragile, easily broken by stress, distance, or distraction. If you want women to be loyal, you must first embody authority over your own emotions, presence, and identity. That doesn't mean being cold or distant. It means being unwavering, magnetically aligned with who you are, and unconsciously communicating that no matter what happens, your value is not negotiable. That is the invisible force women instinctively attach to. Next, I will break down the final piece, the often overlooked secret that separates men who hold loyalty effortlessly from those who watch it slip away. Once you understand this, you'll see relationships and women through an entirely new lens. Now, let's reveal the final truth, the one that separates men who command loyalty effortlessly from those who endlessly chase it. It's not about what you do, it's about who you become in her presence. Women are loyal to the man whose energy resonates with confidence, self-respect, and unshakable identity. Everything else is secondary. Think about every relationship you've had where things felt unstable. You probably gave more than you should have. You probably tried to fix what wasn't broken. You believed loyalty could be earned through effort alone. And yet, despite all your sacrifices, something still felt missing. That void wasn't her. It was the absence of your authentic presence. Loyalty does not grow in absence of it. Here's the psychological reality. Women are wired to seek out men who balance strength with emotional availability. They follow energy, not actions. When you operate from grounded confidence, when your boundaries are clear, when your emotions are self-regulated, you become magnetic in ways that gifts, favors, and sacrifices never achieve. Loyalty flows naturally because she experiences you as a constant, desirable force in her life. The moment most men fail is when they confuse effort for value. They think, if I give more, she'll stay. If I bend more, she'll love me. If I sacrifice, she'll choose me. That's a trap. Women's loyalty doesn't respond to overextension, it responds to alignment. Alignment of your values, your presence, and your energy. That invisible coherence is what she unconsciously recognizes and follows. Let me be blunt. If you keep overgiving without cultivating presence, you're not building loyalty, you're training dependence. And dependence is fragile. It collapses when tension arises, when uncertainty enters, when challenges occur. Loyalty, real loyalty, withstands storms because it is rooted in psychological resonance, not transactional behavior. So, what do? Stop trying to win her with action alone. Step into your authority, hold your boundaries, cultivate magnetic presence, live in a way that communicates strength, self-possession, and emotional consistency. When you do this, she doesn't just notice. You become the anchor she unconsciously wants to stay close to. Remember this. Women are not loyal to what you do. They are loyal to what you are. Effort without essence is invisible. Presence without integrity is temporary. But when you combine authenticity, confidence, and emotional authority, you create a gravitational pull that loyalty cannot resist. Hold on to that truth, apply it, and watch every relationship you enter transform, not because of what you give, but because of who you are.